Hi, everybody. This is David D'Arcangelo, Global Marketing Director, CTFO. Welcome, Dr. Templeman.
Well, it's great to be here, David. It's always fun.
Yeah. I mean, I look at you, you've seen it all. You've been around the world. You've been to Thailand on the mangosteen. You've been all other parts of the world as well. You had an incredible experience with GlutaMyst. What are the wow factors for you that really caught your attention when we came out with the mangosteen and the glutathione product, either or and or together?
Well, what I'd say is that what having them together taught me was kind of important, and it came out largely in a conversation that I had with a doctor friend of mine, who, when I told him about two products, he said, "Well, that's really a lack of imagination." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "They're both actually antioxidants. At least that's how they're known in the medical field." And I said, "Yes, that's true. But what I've learned is that we simply cannot, with everything that we do, it seems that we can never overdo the amount of antioxidant. I have spoken to 4 different people, one of them a very famous published author who was totally handicapped because of brain fog that had come on. And he, again, like I did, within minutes had an incredible experience where he was able to remember, use his brain in a way that was normal and natural for him, because he and I both live with our brains. If you asked me to earn my living with my body, it'd be a sad situation. But with my brain, if my brain goes away, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And it's like that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I have heard from people talking about a matter of minutes to hours of having a response to the two of them. Now, I've only spoken to one person who had the response with only one, but with 2 of them, and I think of them as bookends for the antioxidant work that needs to be
Right.
done in the body to get us to an ideal situation of homeostasis, where we might be by nature in at maybe age 25 or 26, but not afterwards. You're on the downward slope after 26, and you've
Yeah.
had your kids, nature's got no use for you at all.
Yeah. Doc, would you say that it's the most powerful, potent, and beneficial 2-pack that you've ever seen in the industry?
Yes, no question in my mind that these two used together gave me a result and a personal conviction that nothing has ever done it before. And that doesn't mean that I was ever sort of promoting things that didn't work. They did, but it was the time frame. This was so rapid, in your mouth, of course, through the buccal mucosa, and in seconds, literally within the bloodstream, and distribution to the end organs, I would imagine within minutes, and accumulation, if it was an accumulation that was required, because remember, I took 5 times the dose,
Yeah.
but it was the accumulation that was required. It was within an hour, because I was only up there for 45 minutes resting. And I've never seen that. And now I'm getting other people calling me, specifically to tell me about that. And I mentioned the gentleman that I spoke with last night, people who live with their brains and who need that. Now, that's not to say that the most striking and most common effects have to do with the brain, but they do have to do with the nervous system. So people with fibromyalgia, for example, which is it is a pain disease, if you wish, that is centered at the brain. Even though you feel the pain in the periphery, it is a central brain problem. And they are the ones who are benefiting. Another lady that I've talked to had probably the nastiest kind of neurological thing you can have short of a stroke, and that is a temporal problem with gives her half her face very, very sharp electric shocks on a regular basis. And that trigeminal neuralgia, that's the name of the pain, is something that medicine has not been successful at handling. And I wouldn't suggest that everybody with trigeminal neuralgia is going to respond, but this lady is over the moon by the fact that she's had it for many years, that she has never had anything prescribed or injected or however else used that has given her the total relief from this kind of horrific discharge that causes her to cry. It causes people to want to die. It's just,
How does it
oh
make you
yeah,
feel?
yeah, this is definitely the 1-2 punch.
How does it make you feel at this point of your life? That's the way I look at it. And you haven't been around so much and at such a high level
Well,
to
I wish it makes
to
me want to be younger.
what is it? But how does it make you feel to hear people come to you and extol the benefits that something has had such an impact on their life, and we're in that business helping them.
Well, it makes me feel good in the moment, but it makes me want to be younger because,
Yeah.
to be frank,
Yeah.
there, there isn't an awful lot in today's world that I want to stick around to watch evolve. Quite
Right.
frankly, I think I lived during the best time, but so much is changing in such a dramatic way in the supplement world.
Yeah.
And this, in my opinion, now there may be things going on, obviously, that I'm not aware of that may be just as exciting. But for me, and I'm pretty well up on what is happening, this is the most striking thing that I've ever seen. Here's the mangosteen that I have loved for years, and that literally hundreds of thousands of people have loved for years in a format that brings it into the body effectively within minutes.
Yeah.
And in volumes that are 5, 10, perhaps even 100 times more than what we would get by any other method of using it. So yeah, I'm thrilled to see this, and I'm enthusiastic that people like today, for example, just before I got on this call, I was talking to a lady who's had migraines for 27 years, and she has her migraines 4 and 5 a week. All right. And they tend to wake her up from a dead sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. Then she'll have it for almost 24 hours. So the poor woman has had a horrible, horrible life. Now, I don't know what it's going to do for her, but I'll tell you, I was very, very comfortable when she said, "Is there anything you can do?" And I was very comfortable in saying, "Well, I've got a couple of sprays that I'm going to try that I have faith in."
Yeah.
Now, hopefully it's going to do for her. Now, migraine is a neurological problem. It's the actual expansion, first of all, the deprivation to the brain of blood flow, which causes the brain to panic and think that it's going to die. And then it puts all kinds of vasodilators out, nitric oxide and everything else. And then the arteries, which are in the scalp, dilate like crazy and push against things. Plus, bowel and arteries are similar in one sense. The only thing that will make them painful is if you stretch them. Right. And so that's what's happening in the migraine. And I don't know how it's going to help her, but I just feel comfortable in recommending this to anybody for a single reason. There is not, and I did a review about 3 weeks ago in response to a question, and they said to me, "What disease should we not give this to people?" And I went through all of the diseases, in my mind, and then I did a little bit of research with AI, and I came to the conclusion that there is not a single disease, whatever it may be, not even if it's 100% genetic, such as sickle cell anemia, for example, that there is not a problem with an imbalance between free radicals and normal cellular redox status. So this works in any disease. And I don't know of a contraindication where you shouldn't use it. Really, you shouldn't. I once jokingly said, somebody said, "Should we give it to hypochondriacs?" And I said, no, don't give it to hypochondriacs because they have to be sick. And then I thought, well, maybe we could cure a hypochondriac. And so I said, go ahead, use it. So there's no place it cannot be used. There is no place, no disease state, and many pre-disease states. I can't imagine any of them where there is not theoretical benefit from looking after the redox imbalance that exists in all diseases. So where to use it? Everywhere. Where is it best used for the people who need it? In the worst cases that you can think of. That's where you want to try it. Who can benefit? Everyone, theoretically. What will the benefits be? You got to try it to find out.
Right. Dr. Templeman, that's a fantastic, and we could end it here. I'm going to just ask you one more is, what would you say to the individuals watching? Some are associates and team members who are helping getting the XanthoMyst and GlutaMyst story out. Some are people who are just customers and are contemplating using the product. What would you say to them in closing?
Well, we accumulate our money over our lifetime generally, so that the richest people in the world are the oldest people in the world. And the thing that they spend most of their money on, is trying to find their health back. So there isn't a better thing to invest in than potential, remarkable elements that are going to make the body work better. Yeah. We unfortunately live in a society where our nutrition sucks. We have tomatoes that'll stay hard and red and ripe for 3 weeks at a time. That's, you might as well eat cardboard. Nutritionally, things are not developed because of the nutritional content. They're developed because of the shelf life and the appearance over time. So really, we are in a nutritional desert, and we have maybe a fire hose of something that might make a difference here. And in a desert, who wouldn't welcome a fire hose?
Yeah. That's a great ending. And for everybody, we really appreciate you so much, not just for the information that you give out, but you spend a lot of the time with our associates, one-on-one telephone calls, and your character, when you call me up sometimes and you say, David, who should I call? Who do I need to talk to help? It's just such an unselfish, you're such a professional. We all really appreciate you here at CTFO. And thank you very much for today.
It's always a pleasure, David. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Templeman.
Bye-bye.